when you talked about racism, and you raised a very interesting point, but everybody seemed to turn on you as a result of it. Take me back to that night and what your thoughts were.
My thoughts were, they've been growing for a few years, that this was rubbish, that this narrative. I'd spent a lot of time on film sets with people of different colours and sexual orientations, and it never been an issue. And it suddenly became an issue. Everyone was talking about what colour they were and how oppressed they were. And I'm like, no, you're not oppressed. You're getting 25 grand a week from Netflix. Get a grip. And so, yeah, it took me a period of probably 3 or 4 years before I just went on Question Time to say I'm going to say it, and I did say it. And I'd written that song, as I said, that distant song, saying what I thought was wrong, and that got me on Question Time. And then it all went absolutely mental, and here I am.
Yeah, well, it is exciting. We're going to get you. I promise you'll play it one time. We're going to have you on this, have that song, which is important. But this is my point. But people are so quick to put a label on somebody. If you disagree with them, you're a racist. If you're an anti-Semite, or you're this, as opposed to actually having a sensible dialogue. How can we get back to having a sensible dialogue? So that's the way you find resolution, isn't it? Trying to understand the other person's position and try and find that middle ground.
Yeah, well, you need to teach children to do it. And they're not being taught to do it. They're being taught that it's the end of the world, and if the climate doesn't get them, then their oppressive racism will destroy everything. Birth rates fall across the West. As I said, my son's school is just an indoctrination factory. Universities are indoctrination factories. The Oxford Union, but saying that they wouldn't, 75% of the audience wouldn't have alerted people if they'd been known of the Hamas attacks in advance. These are sort of thought vacuums, and one has to either take them back confidently, which one could do. I think a decent prime minister. I think Kemi's got. I think it's a very tough job for her, but I think she's, she's very, very good on these issues, is to say we're going to get this out of schools. It needs to be got out of schools. You need to teach children critical thinking. You don't teach them, you don't obsess about sex and race, which is what they seem to do in schools and universities. It's like, no, go and read a book, learn to write, think for yourself, and then you can have a reasonable discussion. But I have a lot of this, even in close relationships I have in life. People just will go, I can't speak to you. And I'm like, why not? And they go, because what you think is so unbelievably wrong. And I'm like, well, I'm very happy to defend what I think. What about you? Are you happy to defend what you think? And they're not, because they know that it's what they think is driven by emotion and narrative, rather than what I think, which I like to think is driven by research and evidence.
Yeah, and I think this is why I say that people may not agree with your views, but you have to sort of turn around and have a forum where you can debate them. I mean, do you have any regrets over what you said over the years?
No, I don't. I don't. And also, if I did, I think fine. That's one of the consequences of free speech. I think the other day when I tweeted about greeting the police with an axe at the door, I had a few people who were like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Hang on a minute. What does it say? What am I saying? Am I telling people to run around attacking police? No, I'm saying in English, when saying this is Castle and he has a right to defend it." So even on those tricky, and I like to push things about as far as you can, even on those, I look back and go, no, that was the right thing to do. Yeah.